Tommy said it's
Catherine.
fixing. Tommy said it's fixing to stay.
Hey, everybody.
What is going on, Cog Squad?
That's right. 4:00 here in Alabama on tax day.
Official tax day.
April the 15th.
I'm sure everybody's excited.
I know they are. Nobody but the government's excited.
Oh, goodness.
If you had to pay, that is.
Yeah, if you had to pay.
If you didn't have to pay, then you've already probably been excited.
Probably so.
Yep. Good old tax day.
Yep, good old tax day.
I want to tell y'all my neck is red because I've been cutting grass and I just took a paper towel and washed my face off because I was a little brown from the dust. Probably not around my face because I wore a mask. So don't think I have a rash. I'm good.
You're okay.
I'm okay.
You're good.
Figured if I didn't say it.
Yes.
Y'all be worried about me.
Don't be worried about Brooke.
No need to worry. So what's going on today, Jason? No baby calf.
No baby calf today. It was gloomy. I thought it was going to rain all morning, and it wasn't supposed to rain. And now it was just overcast because the sun's out. It's pretty. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Except the wind's blowing. It sounds like it's died down though.
Well, this morning when I first went out, got back home, and you told me it was supposed to be windy today, and I said it's not windy yet, and it wasn't long before I was wrong because the wind came in.
10 to 20 mile an hour winds.
That's right. I had some dust blowing while I was cutting grass. While I was wearing a mask and just trying to eliminate as much sinus issues as I can.
Well, I got to tell everybody, we got to get into more detail about the auction.
Yeah, this could be a whole live just about the auction.
We got to get into more detail about. I
actually don't even have auction written on my list.
If I'd have talked about every single, that video would have been an hour and a half long.
Oh, it'd have been 5 hours if you'd have talked about every single thing. Y'all, it was fun.
We had an awesome time. It really was fun. I mean, it was great. We went to the preview and we showed that in the prior video.
Yep.
But there was a lot more stuff there. What day did we go on the preview?
We went Wednesday to the preview.
Wednesday. Okay. All right. From Wednesday to Saturday morning.
Friday was the cutoff. Friday at 12 o'clock. Yeah.
Man, was it a lot more stuff. I mean, a lot more stuff. Now, as you all saw in the video, the first thing we were going to bid on was the Longhorns.
Yeah, the Longhorns. I said, nobody's going to want those Longhorns.
Nobody's going to want. There's all these tractors and farm equipment, and nobody's going to want these Longhorns. Nobody's going to want these garden art. There were 4. We only saw 3. There were 4 wrought iron gates. There was a 4th one near the end.
Because I saw it when I got back home, and we started studying the list of what was for sale.
Yeah.
I said, Jason, there was another gate that was going to be auctioned off.
There was another gate, and we got the one gate, the main entrance, and then we got another gate all the way down. That's just a regular.
It's just a chain link gate.
And so we thought about if we could get a good deal on one of these gates.
It actually was a good deal, but it wasn't what I was willing to pay for.
Yes, you're right. We were very disciplined. We had a cutoff, and if we could get it for this on the things that we did bid on.
Well, I knew one thing going in. I knew that I had the number in my hand.
Yeah.
And I knew you weren't going to hold your hand up.
I would have.
You would have.
Yeah.
Well, but I told you, I said, I'm the one you got to worry about. I said, Jason, I'm not buying anything unless we need it or unless it's a good deal.
Right.
And he said, okay.
No problem.
Well, I was really emphasizing to you to not let me.
Oh, that's what it was?
That's what it was.
Well, we did well.
Oh, we came home empty-handed.
We came home empty-handed. Now, so the horns came up. So we're thinking, $100 or under on these Longhorns. Right?
Yeah. But They were real, weren't they?
Yeah, they were real, and they went for $400, which I never thought they would.
I had already looked them up, and so I knew what they were worth. Now, I didn't think they would sell for what they were worth.
But that's like retail.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah. Well, you just don't know. I mean, if you want it bad enough, you'll pay what it takes. But I didn't want them bad enough.
No, we didn't want that bad enough. And then y'all, I think some of y'all saw it. There was these tall garden art. There was a chicken. There was a pig that looked like Gus. It was all welded, made out of metal. And we thought, we could get one of these here and there, No. They were $300, $400, $500 for this garden art. So, which I got a hypothesis.
What's that? I told you my hypothesis. Is it the same thing that I told you?
So me and you, I think, thought the same way on this.
Jason came out of the bathroom at the auction. I was waiting on him.
It's crazy.
And I told him, I said, I figured out why this stuff is selling that we don't think should be selling. And you tell him why.
Because 95% of the people in this auction were men. They were all men. Now, there were some ladies in there, not to say there wasn't, but most of the people in there were men. And so the men knew if they brought home that not brand new tractor, but brought home a new tractor to the house,
a different tractor,
they better have something, to smooth it over with the wife.
So they give her this metal peacock to begin with.
That's what they were doing.
And they say, I got you something new.
I got you something.
And then they don't tell them about the tractor.
Right.
So when the lady looks out the kitchen window and she's washing dishes and she sees a new colored tractor go by, she won't say a word.
So these men were thinking.
They were thinking.
They had it all figured out.
Because I really don't think those men wanted what they bid it on.
I don't either.
There was a pig, y'all. It looked just like Gus.
It did like Gus.
He was about Gus's size too. He was pretty big.
He was a big pig,
and it was well made.
Yeah.
So we went and had our dinner. we were eating we're gonna call it the cafeteria at the auction, and right when we got done eating dinner, we walked back out into the hallway, and there's a gentleman standing there that I recognized, and I said, "What number are they on?" He said, "Right there on that wooden statue." And I said, "Okay." So I looked at the wooden statue. I said, "Jason, Gus is next." And so I went running up the stairs thinking that I was going to win Gus. I wasn't. I would pay that for the real Gus because, he's pretty important. But that metal hog was not worth that to me. You got a picture of him?
I don't know if I got a picture of Gus, but I do have some pictures of some stuff at the auction that we did, like. Here were the gates.
Yeah, the gates were nice.
So here were the gates. This one had a horse head on it. One had a tree on it.
I wanted the one with the tree because I felt like it was not.
And there was one with a deer on it, and it would match. It would kind of match what we already had.
Yeah, and they were 14 foot wide, which is exactly the size we would need.
Yep.
So they sold for $600.
I think so.
$600, which was a good deal. But it just wasn't. I mean, y'all know I look on Marketplace and I can find a deal. So if it's not something I need today, that I was going to bid on. It's a hay wagon, just like our green one, except it's red.
Yep.
And my thoughts were, I could pull you around on the farm.
I mean, or we could decorate it up. But it went for like 2 times more than what we paid for the ones.
Jason and I, we had our mouth wide open.
I saw somebody ask about the Nomad, the 1955 Chevrolet Nomad. Now, this was the first item.
On the paper, but it wasn't the first item.
No. But this was the first one. I think it got to $35,000. And that's where it stopped. And nobody else bidded no more than $35,000. And they said that we can't sell it for that. We can't do this for $35,000. We're sorry, but we're not selling it for that.
They said if anybody wants to talk money and is interested in paying more than $35,000, come see us.
Mm-hmm.
But
that was the first item that they said they wouldn't sell.
Yeah, but it didn't say it had a reserve on it.
Nothing said it had a reserve on it. But we learned real quickly that if it didn't meet a certain price, then they would pull it.
And
One was this tractor right here, which I really liked. Now, this is a Farmall with a backhoe attachment. Now, I'm pretty sure, and the older gentleman that I befriended, me and him talked about this tractor. He said if you had real sandy soil, maybe you could do something with that backhoe. I think this, this is an old tractor. It probably has, I don't know how many horsepower it has, but you probably couldn't do much with this. And it said this thing had been completely redone by somebody. I think it was
something
tractor company.
It was like something you should have known about.
It got up to $3,500 and stopped, and they said they wouldn't sell it for that.
They wouldn't sell it.
Yeah, they wouldn't sell it for that. So I got
show my tractor that I was gonna bid on.
So, well, we actually did bid on this tractor.
We did,
but it was just like the other stuff.
I saw a couple of people say, "Why do you need another tractor?" Well, it wasn't the fact that we needed another tractor. It was like the other items. If you get a good deal on something,
right,
and it's better than what you have, and you can sell yours and then move up a notch, you'd be crazy not to do so.
And that's what we were thinking, that, we could get this at a good deal, then sell yours and, have a better tractor. This one's got 54 horsepower.
Mine's got 47.
47.
This has got an air conditioner.
This one's got a cab. It's got a roof. It's got an air conditioner. It's got heater in it. It's got a radio in it.
You did it.
What?
I was going to say, none of that stuff matters to Jason. It's all about the radio. It's all about the radio.
So this would be a lot nicer of a tractor.
But they did not sell it either.
They did not sell it. They pulled it. I will say this, though. I learned that, and I told you this there. Even though John Deere has really, 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 they got it set up where you can only buy their parts. They got it set up where you have to take it back to the dealership because it's all the new electronics. A farmer can't work on the tractors anymore. And I think they're in a kind of a lawsuit, and that's going to the Supreme Court and all that, to have the right to work on your own tractor. Even though John Deere has all that going against them, John Deere still has a huge following that's almost religious-like. I mean, people love John Deere.
And they're not going to cross over.
No, they're not going to cross over.
So some of y'all are saying that's not a very good auction house. Well, here's the deal. This auction is held once a year in Uniontown, Alabama. And the auctioneers, they come from all over the place.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
They had 2 auctions going on at the same time. We didn't show that because we weren't interested in anything that was happening at the other auction. The other auction was a lot of little stuff. Toolboxes for trucks. A big old shop van was one thing we saw. What else did we see? Tires, used tires. It was all kind of stuff. And that was still going on when we ate dinner.
Oh, yeah, it was still going on when we ate dinner.
So it started at 10 o'clock that morning. And we hurried up and got over to Uniontown when we got finished with this live. And then we found out that the auction that we were going to didn't start till 12. But was fine because we didn't get there till 11:15.
Yep.
So we had plenty of time we grabbed us a hamburger. They were cooking them out on the grill. Had a good lunch and enjoyed each other's company. Had a little place to sit down where we watched the auction and got a good seat.
We did get a good seat, and you had to get there early to get a good seat.
You did, because there was standing room only.
Standing room only. People were sitting on the floor. It was pretty packed. It was really, really, really pretty packed in there.
And I felt kind of odd because it was just about 96% men.
It was.
I could have cared less, but I was an oddball. But the men would have had to. Well, I don't want to say that. I was going to say beg the wife to come. That would have been more like me. I was the one that was wanting to go, and you were coming along with me. Now you had fun and you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
But that's kind of the situation they would have been in.
Right.
They would have had to, get their other half to go with them. They weren't interested, so I'm glad that we both enjoyed it.
Tell me how crazy it was. Is that you would see, and maybe it was because there were so many bush hogs for sale. And that's the big cutter.
Oh, y'all! I wish we had the paper.
That's the big cutter that goes behind your tractor, the bush hog, and I bet there was 20 or 30 of them. It had to be.
Here's the deal, y'all. So this is just perfect example. Every cutter here is called a bush hog in Alabama. Every cutter that was listed on that paper said bush hog. If it was yellow and it was Land Pride,
they called it bush hog.
It said bush hog.
Yep.
If it was a Woods brand, it said bush hog.
Kind of like Xerox or Coats or Band-Aids.
You know, I get kind of tickled, like Daniel from Arms Family is one of them. You know, he'll talk about his cutter, and I have to think a minute.
Bush hog.
I'm like, that's a bush hog, Daniel. I don't know where you are.
And the bush hogs the bush hog brand is actually made, and the plant is in our hometown of Selma, Alabama.
That's right.
Yep. Big manufacturing there. But one of those bush hogs, we watched a 5-foot bush hog go for $100.
Yesterday I was bush hogging, and I had a little accident where I got stuck in between two trees, and we had to do some engineering to get me out of there.
Yep.
And Jason said, you know, we should have bought a few of those $100 bush hogs, because then when you tear one up, we can just hook another one up.
Oh, it was crazy. So you'd watch a bush hog go for between $100 and $350. I watched a grain drill go for $100. Then we watched a bush hog brand new tiller, the exact tiller we have, exact same one, and that person bought it for the same price I bought mine.
Yep.
And so he got zero deal on it.
He got zero deal, but guess what?
What?
He got to load it up and take it home with him.
I guess so.
There was something that we were looking outside, and I said, Jason, is that a storm shelter? And he looked at it, and we both studied it for a little while, and he said, Brooke, I think that's some kind of fuel tank.
It's a fuel tank.
It was a 10,000 gallon stainless steel fuel tank. Y'all, it was taller than our house, and I'm not exaggerating.
It was huge.
It was huge. You know what it sold for?
Oh, it's pretty cheap.
$900.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I don't know how they're going to get it home, because it hit the power lines.
It was crazy. The most popular thing there were bush hogs and the creek feeders for the cows.
Yeah, creek feeders were all day long.
So many of those. Now, we looked at a new trough feeder for our cows, Moody and the girls.
Jason.
And y'all, they had some concrete ones there, and then they had one I showed y'all in the video, that big blue one. But I don't know what did those blue ones go for?
Oh, it was expensive. The man bought both of them.
He bought both of them.
Moody had his trough up in the air this morning, balanced on the top of his horns, and he was looking at me like, Mama, you see what I can do? And I said, Moody,
should have bought one of them feeders.
I should have bought one of those feeders. And as soon as I went to video him, because I was going to show y'all what he was doing.
He dropped it.
He don't drop it. He takes it down just as easily as he picks it up. He put it right back on the ground.
Oh, they had a bunch of them. But I think the cheapest one, went for $350, and it was old, rusted. Remember? It was one of the first ones. They were $350 a piece.
I saw one for $500 on Marketplace this morning.
Really?
Yes.
They probably bought it and sell it for $500.
Well, I thought that. They were in Alabama too. I thought that.
Oh.
You just, I mean, things like that, I have no idea of the value.
I would tell you so the horns were, to me, the craziest in some of the garden art. But the other thing was crazy was there was a stainless steel sink.
3 compartments now.
Stainless steel sink. And I thought, nobody's going to bid on this stainless steel sink. And this would be great for the barn or wherever. This would be good. I tapped out at $500. I mean, I didn't tap out. I didn't make a place a bid, but it got up to $600. And I was like, this is crazy.
And that's when I reminded Jason. I said, we got one stored down there in the old barn that we used to have at the old
for free
at the old farm. We are not fixing to bid on that one. So I'm glad that I remember that. I wouldn't have paid that anyway, but still. I just, I feel like we were both very disciplined, because you can get in trouble.
You can get in trouble.
You can get in trouble very easily.
And I said it in the video that I think ego gets involved. And I do. There's people out there that want you to think that they got a lot of money, and they will just keep bidding and bidding and bidding.
They know how poor I am because I just don't. I don't play that game. It's more important to me to go home and have money in my account and not have something I don't need. But we had fun. That's what matters. I mean,
we had a great time.
I was thinking this morning, I was cutting grass. I was thinking, I wish that I had bid on that Kubota lawn tractor. That's really the only thing I wish that I'd won.
The Kubota lawn tractor.
You remember?
Yeah, it was like
they called it a tractor, but it went for a reasonable price. And if we had 2 lawnmowers, we could get a lot done. So that's really the only thing that I had second guessed.
And I want to say this too, because the older gentleman that I befriended, that I was talking to, me and him both could not believe that auctioneer.
Oh gosh.
It was like 4.5, 5 hours before he took a break.
And his break was 45 minutes.
Yes.
His break was 45 minutes and he got back on it.
And his voice never changed. He never got any water or any, he just kept going the entire time. And I could not believe it. And he couldn't either. So he finally took a break, and then a younger fella come and did it, and 45 minutes, and he was right back. Well, I tell y'all this was that. So we got home with about 11ish. So it was 11, and so there was something that I was looking at, and it was an old pickup truck. Let me see if I can find it. I know I took pictures of it.
I got pictures of it. If you don't,
I may have deleted them.
I didn't delete mine because I keep everything.
I know. Oh, here it is.
Oh, you got
here it is. I got it. So y'all know I like the square body Chevrolet GMC, and that's from
look there
70 something.
Here,
you got a good picture.
This is with you.
Yeah.
Beside it.
So it's this was a 78 model C30 right here. So it was a 1-ton. It was actually a dually with a flatbed, and I was just curious.
Here's another picture with my man back there looking at it.
I was just curious what this thing would go for. That was my so I got online, and it was way down the list. It was like 980.
Yeah, it was one of the last things to be auctioned off, and we were not going to stay just to see what it sold for. So you could bid online.
You could bid online.
Not that Jason was bidding, but
no,
he looked when he got home. He joined the website that had the auction going, and how much did it sell for?
$3,500.
$3,500.
Now I did crank it. It had been converted to fuel injection, but I could tell it had a pretty big oil leak on it. There was oil everywhere. There was oil even on the side of the truck. And at the auction, it's not like you can talk to somebody.
Tony said she's got over 1,000 pictures on her phone. How do I see how many I have?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I bet you I have 10,000 easy. And I wonder why my battery runs dead all the time. Sorry, I had to say that before I forgot.
Oh, but I stayed up and watched that go through. I was curious how it was going to go.
I told Jason finally, I said, I am tired. He was still watching the auction.
It was after midnight. I don't know what time it went. I don't know what time it shut down or was over. I have no idea.
I just wonder if your buddy and his brother stayed till the end.
Bless their hearts. So it was 2 brothers, and the one I befriended, I think was the older of the 2. Don't you? Yeah,
I just don't know.
There were 2 brothers, and I'm guessing 75 years old range.
I think they were older than that.
Could have been older than that.
I think they were both in their 80s.
He was a hoot. I mean, we got tickled at each other. Me and him had a good time. I had a really good time talking to him. Now, a lot of times he talked way countryer than I do, and sometimes I had a hard time trying to understand him sometimes. And so that tells you right there. Everybody there was country. He was country. But there was a side-by-side that his brother wanted, and it was the biggest one there. It was that
It was
big one.
brand new.
It was brand new. I don't know how they come up with this stuff, y'all. I don't know if it was the repos.
I told Jason, I said, if those gentlemen stayed there till the end and that side by side had a reserve on it,
It
that was
did, and it did not meet it because I saw it in the.
so they
thing.
didn't win.
So they didn't win. They didn't win.
I bet they were so disappointed because one of them wanted to go home.
my buddy wanted to go home, and he was there with his brother. His brother was bidding on the side by side. Now they may have bought another one. There was another one there that was camouflage that was very similar, and it did sell, but the blue one didn't. But yeah, he was fussing a little bit about his brother wanting to stay and watch. I said, "How in the world y'all gonna make it home? Y'all gonna fall asleep out here?" And he was shaking his head. So
I bet they were having fun. I bet they were just.
They did have fun. I know me and him were having fun because we were laughing because we were laughing at the fools buying stuff for more what you could buy it for at the store, like those wooden posts. There was the fence post made no sense.
The fence post did not make sense because we had already figured out how much a post would cost per piece and then how many were in each bundle. So we knew how much we were not going to bid more than.
Yes.
And y'all, somebody that knew better, because I knew who it was. Somebody that knew better bought them.
So the fence posts were crazy, and the panels. So they had fence panels. They were 10 to 16 foot long, depending on which ones you wanted.
Galvanized panels.
And we already researched those.
Yeah. And
they went for like $200 to $300 over retail.
And you could hear people going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that." In the audience, after it was over.
And one fella bought. There was 3 setups. It was. You can make a round pen for horses, or you can make a pen for whatever you wanted.
For cows, for loading cows.
I think a round pens because that's how they had one setup. But you could do whatever you wanted with it.
Right.
He bought all 3 of them. So I think it was 60. No, it was more than that. Anyways, they were big. He bought all 3 of them. I forget what he paid for them, but way too much.
It was too much.
Way too much.
I just, maybe it ain't like it money was going to charity or something. I mean, if it was a charity auction, I could see paying more than it was worth, but these people must have just had more money than they had
sense.
Well, I wasn't going to say that, but okay. So I've seen some people ask if you found your sunglasses. He must have known y'all were going to ask that.
Actually, I did not know it. I'm trying. I'm just keeping them with me all the time.
I bet you are. What did you ask me where something was yesterday? And I said, Jason, I have absolutely no idea. It was something that you had just picked up. I said, is it in your pocket? And you said, no.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's an all day, every day thing, y'all.
I don't know.
Some of y'all said, can you not put an air tag on them? Well, air tags are a little too big.
They're big. They're like.
So when y'all invent something smaller than an air tag, I mean, I have a phone that has a wallet on the back because it's called Find My. And if this falls off, I can track it and find it. So they need a Find My for the Apple needs to make sunglasses.
Oh, they would be way too much.
Yeah, money. They would. But you wouldn't lose them, so you wouldn't have to buy any more.
I guess that's true. But no, I got my sunglasses.
He found them in the floorboard of the vehicle, the truck.
And I didn't find them. Holly found them for me. So I'd already looked in my truck at least 5 times. At least 5 times.
Michael said that strap will come in handy if you use it.
I know it.
You see these?
I got a strap on.
But what happens is he takes them off his neck because he goes to work on something.
Well, I get to work and they get in my way.
So he takes them off and he sets them down.
I take them off and I set them down
on
like
whatever he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, what I do, Jason, is I just retrace my steps. And that's just not going to happen.
Well, I thought I did that. But
you didn't put your bracelet on when you filled up Gus and Loretta's water this morning either.
I left it on?
Yeah, it was on a few minutes ago, but it's got a nozzle on the end of it. Now, Mary Carl recently left her water on where her pigeons are, and the hose exploded.
Yeah.
And so he would not put a nozzle on the end of it anymore because he doesn't want Mary Carl to leave it on. If it doesn't have a nozzle on the end, she won't leave it on. So I'm going to do that to you. I'm going to take all the nozzles off. So that way, no, because you'll leave it running anyway.
So Holly found them for me. So they were in the floorboard, but they were kind of under the seat. And I don't know how in the world they got there. I don't have a clue. So when Holly rides around with me, and we went to go get some gas, and so she jumped up in there, and when she did, her foot or tail caught it, and they popped out like that.
She was showing them to you.
She's
a good girl.
There they are.
She's trying to take him away from me. She's being a good girl. She must be wore out.
We've been busy today.
We've been busy. Okay, so before we go any further, I wanted to share something about, I've seen this a lot, talking about Luberson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Angela said she's been on it for 8 days, and it is just a game changer for her. Got so many emails telling me how much it's helped them, but that's not the point.
Mm-hmm.
Also got a couple of messages saying, is the Luberson 20% off or 25% off?
Mm-hmm.
So I immediately said 25% off.
Mm-hmm.
And so the messages were saying when I placed my order, and only took 20% off. So I reached out to Lauren at Luberson and I said, hey, is the code 20 or 25% off? She said 25% off.
Mm-hmm.
Why? And I said, because some people are telling us they're only getting 20% off. So if you are one of those that placed an order for Luberson using the Cog Hill code and you only got 20% off, they will gladly refund you the difference.
Yes.
And here's what you have to do. Email. Okay. This is not www, but it is email customer support at Luberson.com. Lubrysyn.com. And just tell them that you ordered using the Cog Hill code and you only got 20% off instead of 25 because it is 25% off. I just want to make sure that anybody that Jacqueline had answered a couple of them, and Lauren doesn't know what's going on. She said it's got something to do with the website on the back end, and they were going to try to get it straightened out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you. Me and T said customer support at Luberson.com.
That's correct.
So just wanted to say that while, what does that say?
Mm-hmm.
While it was fresh on my mind, because
Mm-hmm.
I will forget otherwise. I will forget. And y'all, the stories are amazing of the people that it has helped.
Yes.
It is helping me tremendously. And I'm just so thankful that it's helping a lot of you as well. Aches and pains are no fun. No fun. So much so that I brought it with me because y'all know Jason, he can't stand to taste anything. And y'all have asked me time and time again what it tastes like. And I didn't tell you I was going to let you taste it. He has not taken any of it. He licked a little bit off the spoon, but he had just eaten something. So we're gonna taste this, and he's gonna give you the true. I'm not gonna pour, but just a little bit because his joints are good, except for when you get that arm acted up.
I thought I had it acted up yesterday.
Well, then I need to pour you some more.
It felt good. It feels fine this morning.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So I got it on the spoon, and I want you to take it and see if you notice. Don't spill it. See if you can tolerate it. I don't think you got it. Did you? Okay.
I'm just kidding.
What does it taste like?
I don't know what it tastes like. Actually,
Tastes like nothing to me.
It does got a flavor to it, but it's not bad at all.
It's MSM fortified, which does not come in a flavor. So some people were saying, well, I didn't order the flavor. Am I going to be able to stomach it? It's fine. If Jason says it's fine, it's fine.
You know what it tastes like
what?
to me?
I can't figure it out.
It tastes like a flat grape soda.
It's got a grape flavor to you?
That's just to me. Now, but if you bought one of those new grapes or Grape-A-Co,
I love those things, but I don't want it flat.
And you had it, and you left it in the refrigerator for a few days after you done drank half of it, and came back and tasted. That's kind of what it tastes like to me. It's not bad. It's not great. That's what it tastes like to me. Citrus flavor. Yeah, it could be a citrus flavor.
Somebody said it's nasty, but I don't think it's nasty at all.
It doesn't taste bad.
I wouldn't say that if I didn't think so. But to me, it has absolutely no flavor. Mm-hmm. It's like a oil. oil.
Mm-hmm.
People get tickled at the
That's
way
right.
we say that, but you can tell that it's an oil. But as far as a yucky flavor or
Yeah.
anything, I don't think so.
Yep.
Catherine said it's so good I could drink it.
Oh goodness.
What you looking at?
I'm looking at that over here.
Okay. Jason's already told me he was hungry because I got dinner ready already. He could smell it. We're not eating dinner. We're eating dessert before dinner.
We are.
Is she still on here?
Oh, I know they got to be on here.
All right. So if y'all have been following Nick and Zoe, then you know that on their live this past, I don't know if it was this past Sunday. Was it this past Sunday? They talked about Zoe making a coconut cake. I think it was last Wednesday. And Zoe at Chestnut Hills can cook like a baker.
She can cook like a baker.
She can cook like a baker. That needs to be her motto.
Baker.
So she made a coconut cake.
Oh, you got it.
Well, she sent me a picture of it, and
like
I said,
a pound cake.
I said, Zoe, I said, don't give me that whole cake. We've already ate one slice. She gave us 2 slices.
So I didn't know about the whole cake thing. So Nick tells me Zoe tried to give Brooke the entire cake, but she wouldn't take it. And I was like, I gotta have a talk with Brooke.
Well, she wouldn't let me pay for it. And I told her she's not making a cake and us not buying it from her because she's got a lot of time and ingredients in it. And so I said, just cut us a piece. And I met Zoe at Tractor Supply. Somebody said, this is rude. This is not rude. This is Zoe's magnificent baking.
So we were her guinea pigs on the coconut cake because we're huge coconut cake fans.
Yes.
And so,
man, you better save me some of that.
I'm gonna get this one more piece here, but I wanted to tell Zoe that it is absolutely delicious.
Let me tell y'all, if you're coming to Petals from the Past, I'm signing Zoe up for cake making the week before. It just is fantastic.
It is good.
I told her, I said, Zoe, this is the best one yet. And then I said, you know what? Oh, wait, I got to have one more. I said, every one you make is the best one yet. It's whatever's fresh in my mouth is the best one.
That one is absolutely delicious. But
it's the bomb.
But the birthday cake was
not to me. And get this. So I met Zoe at Tractor Supply.
Mm-hmm.
She said she had told me to take the cake and to take Catherine and Tony some too.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you trying to kill her? Catherine's allergic to coconut, and Zoe had just forgot. So Catherine couldn't be tempted.
Oh goodness!
With that beautiful, wonderful coconut cake. Oh yeah, that lady knows she can cook.
She can cook.
I tell you, if she wanted to open up a bakery and I won the lottery, I'd buy it for her.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, she's missing her calling. She is.
She is good.
She's very good.
She's really, 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 really good.
And that's just.
Yeah. Now she did post a caramel cake the other day. I see a lot of people saying caramel cake.
Catherine got caramel cake. Now we gonna fight. Mm-hmm. No, but we haven't said in a minute that the fall meet and greet is September the 20th at Petals from the Past. Right. We're going to try to keep saying that so anybody that wants to come has time to plan. Mm-hmm. Met a lady today out front that came by the farm stand from Las Vegas, Nevada.
How about that?
How about that? She was with her 2 sisters, and on her last trip to Alabama, her sisters had tried to take her by the farm stand. They ended up on the wrong road at another farm stand. And she said, I kept telling my sisters, this is not the right farm stand. And they were convinced it was. And she said, no, it's not. So it's just, we just love to meet you guys and hope that any of you that wants to come can get there on September the 20th.
Somebody said they used to get their coconut cake from Pepper Ridge Farms.
Huh? They make frozen cakes.
Really?
Yeah, in like the grocery store.
Hmm.
Oh goodness. What else we got, Jason?
Well, you gotta talk about that.
Yeah, I know. I just want to know if you had anything.
I don't have anything.
Okay. So, final day to order Save the Bees merch and Bells of the Barnyard will be April the 26th. Those two designs will no longer be available. If I don't say it, then somebody's going to say I went to order it and it was no longer available. So, April the 26th will be the final day to order Bells of the Barnyard and Save the Bees merch. Mark that off my list. If I don't have this written down, I will not remember. What you got? You must have thought of something.
No, I was looking at the auction stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was.
Okay. There was something that was brought to my attention recently, and I got to thinking about it, and I said, I'm gonna talk about this because it's important, and that is that when we were at our old farm, if y'all followed us then, our goats were on what you call a dry lot. And what that means is you have no grass. So our goats didn't have any grass, but they were fed grain and hay. They were fed hay all the time to supplement that, lack of grass. And they also got parasites. And there's a misconception that if your animals are on a dry lot, they won't get parasites.
Well, animals are subject to parasites no matter what. No matter
your animals are going to walk in the soil.
That's true.
And they're going to have the eggs that are in the soil on their feet. They could get that in their mouth. Parasites are a cycle. You're not going to not have parasites because you don't have grass.
Yeah.
So it's just as important that your animals are parasite free being on a dry lot as it is if you got grass. Maybe even more so. We always when we had a fecal done had parasites.
Yeah.
And it was nothing that we did different in the care of our animals that we do here. But we have had fecals come back negative here. And we have grass. So just wanted to share that we
don't want anybody's animal getting sick.
No, I don't want anybody to go by somebody else's, saying, well, I got a dry lot, so I don't have to deworm my animals. It just is not factual.
Right.
Not factual at all.
Somebody said and asked that their dad wanted to know about the new cattle equipment. Well, it's still there. I
can't pick it up. I'm lifting my weights daily, but
we are working on getting the old stuff out, and that way we can put the new stuff in.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're just kind of waiting around on Brant or Greg, whoever makes their appearance first, and get them to move it. So Lakeland is aware that we don't have a way to get it in our pasture. And some of you may have thought, well, why did they deliver that equipment with no way to get it off the trailer? Well, I had prearranged with them that I had a tractor that had forks on it. And they said that, that they thought that would lift it. And I did too. But that equipment is a lot heavier than Dad is the guy that contacted Lakeland. All right.
Good deal.
Thank you. It wouldn't pick it up because it was so high up in the air. The 18-wheeler bed was high, and then.
Well, our thinking is we could get up under it, and lift it up, but you can't. And it has special hooks on the top made for
picking it up.
I
did not want to damage it,
and so it was just really too high.
It was really too high, and so I called Mr. Butch, who is our neighbor across the road, and he literally was here in 10 minutes.
Oh, if that.
He sent somebody over here that works for him and literally no time.
Right.
And yes, we could have got him to put it in the area, but we did not have our cows put up because we thought we were going to move it with my tractor. And with him having come at the spur of the moment, I was not going to ask him to.
Well, plus we didn't have the old stuff out yet. Yeah. We didn't know exactly where we wanted it, but we kind of did. But I know it's okay though. It's fine. We'll get it moved as soon as we get it. Is it big enough for? I see a lot of people asking us. Is it big enough for Moody? We don't actually know. 100% we don't know. So our original plan was to put that equipment in there and get rid of or sell or give one of our friends the head gate we got. But we've since changed our mind. So to be safe, we're going to set 2 more poles up and raise the head gate we got and build a wooden chute for Moody. So if the squeeze chute we got won't accommodate him, at least we would have this. So
And we
yeah.
never had any question about the fact that he would not fit. We just didn't feel like that was going to be a issue. And lo and behold, when it got here, me and Jason both looked at each other like, we are not for sure that Moody's going to fit in there.
Mhm.
And if he won't, hey, that's the least of our concerns because he's the most easygoing one of the three. However, if we're trimming his hooves or if we're giving him a vaccine or if we're working on him in a way he
Yeah.
didn't want to, we got to control his head.
That's right.
So we will we plan to keep that head gate and
That's
just
right.
mount it higher.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'll mount it for us. Maybe he'll pick it
Hold it up
with,
for us.
yeah, show us exactly where it needs to go.
So we always say that, seeing Moody on TV or your phone or your computer really doesn't do him justice. He's way bigger in person. So the 3 ladies that came and stopped by the farm stand today said we're gonna ride down there and look at Moody, and we're actually over there.
Yeah, I told them. I said, just drive the car because they wanted to walk, and I said, just drive the car by there. They had the windows down.
So they went down there, turned around, rolled the window down, and we could hear them. The words that come out of their mouth was, "Oh my gosh!"
They could not believe it.
He's so big.
The ladies were like, "Wow!" I mean, you could just hear. They couldn't see us because we were kind of behind that row of trees, and Jason and I just kind of laughed because we got a chuckle out of them seeing him for the first time in person.
He's a big fella.
I keep seeing somebody saying, "Is my t-shirt quilt ready yet?" Not yet. I told Miss Penny to take her time, and to not be in a hurry. And she has got a lot of things going on, but I guarantee you, she's going to let me know as soon as the quilt's ready, and I will show you guys as soon as I pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you.
Yeah. Did she give you any time frame on that? You just told her whenever?
I just told her whenever because I really, it's not like she has people that are waiting on things for graduation gifts and whatnot, and I said, just get it to me when you can.
Yeah.
So that's that's the reason I haven't gotten it back.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I should step in front of somebody else, even though I'm a paying customer.
That's right.
Just like everybody else, I'm not on a deadline.
That's right.
I'm not on a deadline.
Well, I posted a little reel of my Zephyrin Druin rose.
How did you say that?
Zephyrin Druin?
Yeah, I don't know how you must have watched it over and over and over how to pronounce it.
You got amnesia?
Why?
Because I'm a wordsmith.
Oh.
I mean, how do you mean how did I say it?
Do I have amnesia?
I'm a wordsmith,
Okay.
But it's beautiful, and it's going to get even more pretty. But within a day, that climbing pinky has just exploded. Have you seen it today?
I have. I went over and cut the water off for the chickens this morning. And while I was over there, Jason took care of the chickens yesterday.
Yep.
And I asked you, I said, is the climbing pinky blooming yet? He said, is it blooming?
So I got to show you guys the climbing pinky. Now, if nothing crazy happens, if I don't get a disease or something off the wall happens, the Rose Swag is going to put on an amazing show this year, and it will be the first time pretty much since we've been here. Those roses are going on 3.5 years, 3 to 3.5, probably 3 full years on those roses.
And it can be kind of sad when you first plant them and you don't see anything. But at this point, after you've waited several years, all that waiting pays off.
Yes, that is going to be absolutely beautiful. on that side. I was looking at it through the front today, and it's gorgeous. But when those start going, it's gonna be gorgeous. And don't forget, I got the ones in the front there planted that's gonna climb over that arbor. That's gonna be beautiful too as
That's
well.
right.
And that one is, oh gosh, I almost said it. That one slipped my mind. It's not that I can't say it. I forgot what it's called. Lamarck. That rose is gorgeous. So it's beautiful, beautiful. I can't wait.
I
can't
just
wait.
saw somebody ask if the daffodils bloom this year. They did.
They did.
They did really, really good.
And I showed them in the video.
Well, they may have
twice.
just missed it. They did really well. They did better than they did the year before, and we expect that to continue as they multiply and grow. And just, the thing is we have a lot of different varieties of daffodils, so none of them are going to bloom at the same time. I mean,
yeah, that's right.
You might see half of them bloom, and they're just different. So yes, it would put on a bigger show if they all were the same, but they're not, and we're okay with that. But they are beautiful. The code for Luberson. All right, so you can go to our website.
Somebody's asking that.
www.coghillfarm.com, and Jacqueline has the link on there. It'll automatically put the code in there. But if you go to Luberson's website, you can put in code COGHILL, all one word, and it will give you the 25% off.
Yep.
Now, like I said, if you buy it and it only gives you the 20% off, please reach out to them and tell them at customer service at luberson.com, and they will make that 25% instead of 20.
Right. Somebody asked about, does the Climbing Pinky Rose smell good?
I saw that earlier.
It's not known to be a big fragrance rose, but it does have a fragrance. And since it puts on so many blooms, it does smell great. It really, really does.
But it's not like when you walk over there, you don't say, what's that smell? But if you get right up on it,
you get close to it,
you're gonna smell it.
Absolutely can smell it. Now, my Zephyr's Ruin has got a great scent to it, and it's kind of known for its scent. And the Lamarck will smell good. The American Pillar Rose, which is on the swag, it's not known for its smell, but it does have a smell, but it's not known for its overpowering smell. But the Lamarck probably is the best smelling rose here.
Gotcha.
Once it gets going.
So Robin asked, what's the name of the quilt shop that's here in Clanton, Alabama? It is SEW, So Charming. And they have a YouTube channel as well as a Facebook page. So you'll know when you see Clanton, Alabama, that you've got the one we're talking about. And Miss Penny and her daughter Emily do a fantastic job over there.
And yes, today is Pooky's birthday.
Yes, today is Pooky's birthday.
She is 19 years old.
19. That she's got a lot of spunk in her for a 19-year-old horse.
Y'all, that thing right there. Now I ain't gonna lie. Oh my goodness. Oh, she is got an attitude. Her and Peaches are absolutely perfect for each other.
They sure are.
I'm not gonna tell y'all. It still blows my mind that they get along so well, but both of them have a little attitude.
It's just perfect.
But it's not ugly in any kind of way.
It's just to each their own.
But they do have a little sass to them.
Well, the lady that came from Las Vegas, Nevada today had her two sisters with her. The two sisters were not followers. And so she's trying to update them on everything. And it just was going, kind of slow pace because
it's a lot.
You got a lot to learn in a short period of time.
Yeah, you got a lot.
And the woman, one of the sisters that doesn't watch says, is that a pig laying out there? And the lady that follows us said, and the sisters were like, and that's a little horse too, isn't it? And the sister was like, and Pooky too. And then she proceeds to tell the two sisters that don't watch how those two were just contrary, so to speak, and didn't really fit in with anybody else. And so they have fit in with each other.
Yep.
and they were having a birthday party out there today.
They were having a time. They
Yeah.
are. It just you can go out there most of the time. They're within 10 foot of each other.
They are, and that's the way it was. That right then, when the lady noticed the pig,
Mm-hmm.
Pookie was kind of standing off to the side, and they were like, "And that's a mini horse out there with her."
Mm-hmm.
It was funny.
It was, yeah. Peaches and Pookie is.
They're just fit for each other.
Never would have thought that in a million years.
Me either, and it was
Unreal.
really kind of a something that we tried and thought we were really gonna move them right on away.
Mm-hmm.
We thought we'll put them in here and we're just gonna keep watch because we're
Right.
gonna be moving them
We're gonna
rather
be
quick.
moving them. Yeah, that wasn't gonna work.
Yeah. Well, we don't see every comment, and we apologize if we didn't answer something you asked, but I saw something that caught my eye, and that was, where did Mary Carl's name come from? So I posted a picture on April the 13th, which was 2 days ago, and it was of my daddy. It was his birthday, and this was a group picture of the funeral home gang. He was employed by a funeral home in Selma, and the whole gang's there. My daddy's got the era on him because, well, I figured out how to do that, and I had to show off my talent. But there he is sitting in the chair. He has now passed away. He passed away at the age of 49, but his name was Carl. And so Mary Carl's name was part of my daddy's name. Carl Snyder was his name. And so Mary Carl is part of my daddy.
Yep.
Yep. So I didn't share that on YouTube, and I thought about it. So here we are.
Here we are.
That's right.
Yeah, people on YouTube didn't see that, did
People
they?
on YouTube didn't see
They
it.
didn't see that.
So.
Oh, they said they can't see him.
Okay, well, I did. I zoomed it in, but then I thought nobody wants to see him. I had so many.
That's good.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had so many people say they thought that I looked like my mama until they saw my daddy. And then they realized real quick that I looked like my daddy. And I mean, look at me next to the picture if I'm not smiling.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost a male version of me.
I never thought that.
Well, you did then, didn't you?
I reckon. I don't know.
It's his mouth. His mouth looks just like mine.
Yeah, I know I look just like my daddy. I know I do.
But when I smile, he most of the time didn't smile with his teeth.
Yeah, he didn't, did he?
But when he did, it resembled me to a T. So, yep, that's part of. I'm glad you, whoever said it, because it was perfect.
I am glad
perfect timing for me to show that picture.
I am glad they said that.
So he would have been 74 years old. 74. Passed away. And Jason knew him very well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like there was, it was a good thing that you got to meet him and know him. And I'm not talking about somebody that you're not familiar with.
Right. Yeah, he got me hired at the funeral home.
Yep.
He did.
Taught Jason a lot of
DIY stuff, how to fix things yourself.
Yeah, he didn't pay anybody. I don't think I ever had a repairman at my house.
He also taught me a lot about computers. He was a computer whiz. This was pre right when the internet came about, like it is now.
Yeah, and goodness gracious, he spent a lot of time on the computer because it was his fascination.
It was.
So can you imagine, Jason?
Oh gosh.
If he was here today with what you're doing.
Oh gosh.
He'd probably be editing your videos.
He could probably.
I mean, Jason is a good editor. But I bet my daddy would have his own channel, first of all. And he would be in competition with you trying to have, how the Morrow family has their family? It'd be the Snyder Smiths.
Oh goodness, the IBM days. I won't ever forget, he bought a computer and the name brand of that computer was Wang, W-A-N-G. And it was an expensive computer at the time. I don't even think that computer's probably not even in business.
I remember the Gateway, but I don't remember.
That was much later.
Oh.
The Wang was first.
See, I didn't even know any of this.
Yeah, the Wang was first. And then later on was the Gateway.
That was right before he passed away. Not too long before he passed away. He bought
Right.
the Gateway.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh goodness.
Yep. That's somebody said they had a Wang.
Really?
Yep. Yep. That's what his first big computer. I'll never forget. That was
A
the
Wang.
big Wang. Yep. I
Huh.
worked on a Wang.
I don't remember him having. I mean, I'm sure I probably used that computer, but I didn't need to know what it was.
Yep. That's back when you got on the internet. It was.
Oh yes, the dial up. The dial up. Yeah.
Yep. That's how you got on.
Boy, would he be impressed with today's.
Oh goodness.
We had gotten married in June the 3rd, and Daddy passed away August the 13th. So he basically, I think he hung around to watch us get married.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
While we were on our honeymoon, he was fine at the wedding. His mind was fine. But while we were on our honeymoon, his mind started going.
Yep.
I remember him telling me on the telephone that my neighbor looked like Elvis. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I was asking Mama, I said, Mama, what is he telling me that Mike looks like Elvis? And she was like, oh, we'll talk about it when you get home. It's okay. We'll talk about it when you get home. And lo and behold, things went south. So just glad to have him for 49 years.
Yep. I learned on an Apple IIc computer as well. Somebody said Apple II. I was an Apple IIc fella. I was so big into computers. So I went to a computer class. This was, this is late 80s, mid to late 80s. And IBM computers. And this one computer, and they just got it to just tell y'all how crazy and stuff's changed. And they had this little speaker on top of it. And everybody was just in awe, and they hooked it up. And this is when they plugged it in and it talked. So, computers wasn't talking. They just played music or whatever, it didn't talk. But this one talked and talked out this speaker. And of course, it was like, how are you today? But I remember us all being gathered around this one little computer. No, it was after school.
Okay.
This was like
after school program kind of thing.
And I think it was at Wallace, the community college. And we're all huddled around there watching this thing, and it starts talking out of it, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow. All right, saw some questions. What happened to my daddy? He had renal cell carcinoma, which is basically kidney cancer. They removed his kidney, and he was in remission for quite some time, and then it came back in his liver, and that's what caused his death. So just wanted to say that before we go on to what's for supper.
What's for supper?
Jason's not going to get any supper because he ate all the coconut cake. What is for supper? Nobody's commenting. They think I'm being mean.
Oh.
Or either it's locked up.
We're actually having, they're all typing.
There we go.
It's fixing to come
What's
through.
For supper?
Taco Tuesdays for us. We're actually having Taco Tuesday today.
That's right. It was really not planned. I was going to make hamburger patties, and I got to thinking that I wasn't going to have a whole lot of time since we were doing this live. And so I went ahead and browned my meat, and we are going to have tacos as soon as we're done. Oh, baked barbecue chicken.
Smash burgers. Man, every time I see that.
Turkey chili. I've got chili on the agenda for this week. It's going to be hot, but leftovers. I'm going to cook a roast tomorrow night. I saw somebody.
Pinto beans and cornbread.
Oh, that sounds delicious. I love just beans and cornbread.
I do too.
When Mary Carl's grown and she doesn't need a meal any longer, Jason and I are going to have, we're going to have lots of
beans and
lots of cereal.
Carrots.
We're going to have lots of simple things, but
French bread pizza. Oh, there's nothing like French bread pizza.
It's one of a kind, isn't it?
Oh, I remember the ones my mama would make, and they were so good.
On that French bread with the sauce on it and the cheese and the pepperoni. And then you could buy those Stouffer's ones, but they were so expensive. That was only on a special occasion for us. Oh, goodness. Oh goodness, there's clear broth.
Chili burgers.
They must be having a colonoscopy.
Uh-oh. Spaghetti.
Pot roast,
Pizza.
pinto, more pinto beans, peanut butter and
Fish.
strawberries.
Ooh, speaking of,
You made the dogs bark.
I tried it.
Tried what?
The peanut butter and pickle sandwich.
Oh yes.
I tried it. So there were so many y'all in the last one said peanut butter and pickle's good. Peanut butter. So if one of y'all would have said it, I'm like, this person's playing a practical joke on me and making me go, make me eat peanut butter and pickles. But then it was like one comment after the other is all these peanut butter and pickles. And I was like, so this must be a thing. So I made a peanut butter and pickle sandwich. And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. I'm not going to eat another peanut butter and pickle sandwich, but I did eat all of the peanut butter and pickle sandwich.
You didn't want a second one.
I didn't want a second one.
But you probably wouldn't have eaten a second one if it was just peanut butter and honey. So
that's true.
You didn't let it go to waste.
I did not let it go to waste, but I did try it. I absolutely did try it.
I have a feeling you're going to finish this cake up before we go downstairs.
No.
Well, you can.
I'm going to eat.
Well, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my order in right now.
What's your order?
A whole coconut cake. Because that was one good cake. It was good. So good.
Mm-hmm. Dill pickles. I use dill pickles.
Yep, you use dill pickles.
I did. Was I supposed to use sweet pickles on the peanut butter sandwich? I use dill pickles. I think you're supposed to use sweet pickles.
Oh, really?
That ain't crossed my mind.
Huh.
So, you know what? I got some sweet pickles. So, I'm going to try that. Michael Key says A1 and pickles. That's got me curious, Mike. No, Mike wouldn't steer me wrong.
We don't have any A1, Mike.
Mike wouldn't steer me wrong.
You going to send me to the grocery store.
Bread and butter pickles is what I was supposed to use on the peanut butter.
They got to specify.
I swear I saw dill pickles, though.
I thought so, too.
Dill is what I use.
Bread and butter pickles.
Somebody just said dill.
Nope, I'm saying bread and butter. Bread and butter.
All right, we're going to try that then. We're going to try that.
But not for dinner.
Somebody said do a half sandwich. I was going to do, my nanny used to call them pocketbook sandwiches.
Yeah.
It's because they look like a little pocketbook.
Fold it in half, the pocketbook sandwich.
And fold it over.
So you're not going to have peanut butter and
now peanut butter and bacon sounds good. Now dill
tonight.
Dill.
Because you're going to have
having tacos.
All right, let's go eat supper.
Let's go eat supper.
And got a video tomorrow. Gonna be a good one.
So
y'all stay tuned. We plan to be back here Saturday morning.
Yep.
And around 8:00. So y'all stay tuned and hope everyone has a good night.
Y'all be good.